Hello, welcome back to another episode of Awakening with Soulspirational. I'm Tish, and in today's episode, I want to talk about loving yourself entirely, all of you, loving and accepting all of who you are. So I've been thinking a lot lately about just between different sessions and my own healing, how it's like there's part of us that if there are aspects of ourselves that we don't like, that we really, really don't like, that we are trying to reject, ignore, repress, deny, hate. These aspects are not going to go away unless they're healed, unless they're addressed, those kinds of things. Now we can spend time in life where we are around more uplifting people, work is going well, life seems to be going well, but then somebody comes in that kind of pushes a button, and then one of those aspects that maybe we've been suppressing or looking away from, just comes to us front and center to remind us that, that aspect is still inside of us. And it doesn't feel good, right? So again, if we know that we have these areas, but we suppress them, we try to look away, how are we going to heal those? If we allow ourselves to see those other aspects, instead of trying to separate, we can bring them in and honor them, accept them, love them. And I do not get me wrong, I do not mean this in the sense that I want to be more like that, you know, but I am stopping, I'm working on no longer rejecting the unpleasant sides that I feel that I have, or the unpleasant sides that other people may feel that I have. In my journey, recognizing that there are some aspects that people aren't going to like for various reasons, and I just can't be so concerned about that. I will take that as constructive criticism. On some level, I will process it and I will learn about the truth that comes at me. But I've also learned enough to know that when people are saying things about somebody else, it is through their own filter. So their own filter of hurt or of joy or whatever it may be. Sometimes when we see somebody who's in a great place in life, another person who may not be so may want to tear down that person who is shining their light because it aggravates their own. Doesn't feel comfortable and they see somebody else having fun when they're not in that state at all. So my point with this is I'm careful about taking on other people's judgments, because I recognize that it's just that it's their judgment, right? But what is important is the way that I see myself and the truth about who I am. Recognizing that I do have these darker, unpleasant sides, that if the buttons are pushed appropriately, and some of you know that I am a Scorpio. So sometimes that kind of energy, it's there for the darker aspects as well. So what I have been learning is not to reject those aspects. If I am going through life and everything's great and then bam, something happens and one of those dark aspects kind of front and center, instead of trying to just push it to the side and I don't like you, because what I'm saying to that part of myself that I don't like, that's still part of me. So I'm saying to me, I don't like me. Or I hate that part of me. Well, then I hate that part of me that's connected to me. I can't separate myself from it. So what I can do is I can heal to try and quiet down or lighten up some of those deeper, darker aspects. So maybe it takes a little while longer before somebody can push a particular button, for example, before I get to the point of responding, before I get to the point of reacting rather than responding. For the most part of my life, I am, it's been a long journey. And it hasn't been an easy one, but I am at the point where, for the most part, when somebody does something that is hurtful to me, I process it and I tend to respond. I mean, I have friends that, I may vent to just kind of get those emotions out, but in the old days, I would react very differently than how I respond today. However, along the way, I haven't been so loving towards those aspects of self, and I am changing that. I suppose this is going to be a bit of a process as well. But again, if something comes up and maybe somebody pushes a button of fear, I look the fear in the eyes, or if it's resentment, or if it's anger, I don't, whatever the emotion is, to look at it and say, you know what, I see you. I recognize you. I realize that you are an aspect of me. How can I help you? Because if hurt is coming up in whatever way that is, fear of judgment, fear of abandonment, fear of not having, resentment, whatever it is, then it's probably showing us a place where we could use more love. So instead of resisting it, instead of denying it, instead of trying to hide from it, to look at that aspect and say, what are you trying to tell me? What is this reminding me of? Can I find the root cause of it so I can go back and maybe heal that particular time? And that's, whenever we're doing this kind of work, feel free to reach out to a mental health professional or a spiritual counselor. Um, Reach out. There are other people who can help you along your journey. You do not have to go this alone. Even though it is our own journey, um, that doesn't mean that we can't have a support system with us as we walk or when we stop and rest, whatever it is. Yeah, there's a support system there for you. It's a matter of opening up and seeing who's around you or taking steps towards that group or that counselor, whatever it may be. So, again, by confronting head on what that emotion is, what that aspect of self is that we may not like. And what I am learning is when I am looking abandonment in the face, for example, I'm letting it know you're not abandoned. I'm right here with you. I'm here. I have myself. For me, I have God. I have my community. I have people who love me. And if nothing else, I still have me. And again, that divine light that flows through me. So I know that I'm never alone. I am in the spiritual world, so knowing that I have loved ones around me. So I'm never alone. So when I look abandonment in the face, I can say, hey, it's okay. And as I'm comforting abandonment, what I'm really doing is self-soothing. I am comforting myself, letting myself know that it's okay. I am not abandoned. I am whole. I am here. Whatever that is. If it is, if somebody close said something, somebody that I love said something that's very hurtful, that is going to elicit a reaction out of me quicker than somebody who I don't know, because one is closer, right? So we give them so much more credence or credit because, well, they know us, so they know if we're this way or that way. Somebody who barely knows me, if they say something, well, I mean, they don't know me. And that's okay. That's all right. But when it's somebody who's close to us, that can really sting. So again, I'll sit with the emotion and instead of resisting it, bringing it forward, how can I use this? What is this anger touching within me? What else is there, again, that could be healed? But besides the actual healing aspect of going back to the root of an issue to resolve it, even without that aspect, just facing those different unpleasant sides of self, it has helped to diminish them just by acknowledging them. So instead of trying to hide from them, repress them, wish that I didn't have those aspects of me, sometimes it's like, all right, you know what? You're with me. And I know that you're a part of me. I'm not going to deny you. I'm not going to judge you because, again, when I judge that aspect of me, I'm denying me. When I judge that aspect of me, I'm denying me. I'm judging me. So, you know what? I'm recognizing that, you know what? We're in this together. You're jumping up for a reason to get the attention. So I'm going to stop and give you my attention. How can I help you? How can I help this unpleasant side? Perceived unpleasant side. Sometimes we find over time that the judgments, the opinions of others or their judgments about how they perceive us to be. And then it's like, well, I don't want people to think of me like that, so I don't want to be like that. And again, it's the resistance, it's pushing it away. But if it keeps coming up, I mean, it's within you, right? So, and then when we look at it, it could just be, so growing up, I've been very opinionated. I'm still opinionated, but nothing like I used to be. I resisted that part of me because I heard a lot of people, some people in my orbit, back then. Sometimes I would hurt other people by my opinions. I'm sure I probably still do today. It may just be off-putting. It may be that we don't see the same, whatever it is. My intention was never to hurt anybody. But by going through my healing journey years ago, I realized that, being opinionated isn't necessarily a bad thing. My father raised us with, you have a spine and you have a throat, use them. And I think that really resonated with my Scorpio self, and I took it to heart. And so I've learned over the years that my opinion, most of the time people really don't care anyway, right? And if it's important to me, I mean, it's one thing when I'm in class or I'm in session, I know people are coming in, obviously, for my opinions, but if I'm in a public or a private setting, friends are over, whatever it may be, whatever the situation is. And even within a group setting, even with clients, sometimes I'm still holding back on my opinion because I recognize that my opinion isn't going to make a difference in that particular situation, and it's clearly just my opinion. I want to be able to help somebody. And sometimes my opinions help, sometimes they don't, but I do it with the intention of helping. God, I really hope I'm making sense here. Not that I don't still slip and give unwanted opinions, because I do. But here's the thing, I don't hate that aspect of me. And that's where I feel like I'm coming more full circle with it. Instead of after having a situation where, I'm beating myself up later, like, oh, why did you have to say that? That really wasn't necessary. Instead of beating myself up, like, I'll still mull it over, but I don't hate that aspect of me. I will learn from it. And if apologies are needed, then I will apologize. But oftentimes we are more critical of ourselves than other people are about in certain ways. So I give myself a break that, you know what, all right. So you went a little overboard with being opinionated. Life is about finding balance, and we're not always going to be at the point of balance. We are going to fluctuate because we are human beings. We have unexpected circumstances that just hit us in life. So, all right, you're a little overzealous about that one, and we'll try to keep that in mind for the next one. So learning and getting back up to the balance point, because if I start beating myself up because, oh my gosh, what a jerk you are, Tish. I can't believe that you said this or that you did this, and then being up at night because I feel like, oh, maybe I made such a fool of myself. Done. Not doing it anymore. And again, this isn't about other people judging me at this moment. It isn't that so-and-so came back and said, oh, you did this. But I mean, this is just me processing because I'm a processor. Spending the night processing the day and then getting stuck on something over and over of something that I could have done differently and beating myself up for it. I'm done with the lashing. I'm done beating myself up over it. These are aspects that are part of me that I carry with me. And as I heal, they get quieter. Not that they go away. They get quieter. And it's not that they're quieter because I'm trying to put a lid on them, pretend like they don't exist. It's just as I'm getting healthier, they just are. I don't know. So I guess I'm asking you that if you find yourself in a moment where you were beating yourself up, or you have this heavy or dark energy, I kind of see it as like it's screaming at me. Or I can hear it in my head because I'm in the moment of anger or being upset about something or hurt or whatever it may be. Of pulling myself out, getting back over to the lighter side, the lighter aspects of myself, so I can kind of quiet down that part. Again, whether it's a matter of looking at it, saying, hey, I see you. How can I help you? To myself. Or whatever it is that you find that may be beneficial for you. Anyway, I'm asking you to love and accept all of you. Just try it. Maybe instead of the self-loathing, the self-love will help the other stuff. We are never going to be all things to all people. Ain't going to happen. There will always be people that our energy will rub them the wrong way. That's okay. To me, I take that as a sign from the universe that they are meant to be with somebody else. Or somebody else's energy rubs me the wrong way, and that just tells me I am being redirected. So instead of resisting it, and what is it? How come I can't resonate well with this person? And something like that may go through my mind. But instead of like, oh, I'm not good enough to be with this person or the right kind of energy to be with that person, no. Go with the flow, right? So energies don't resonate. I don't send them any ill harm or wish them any ill harm. It's just a redirection, like the GPS, right? It's a redirection with the universe. Like, don't spend your time over here because you're going to miss the people or the person or the situations that's coming up over here. So let's redirect you away. And likewise, I don't want somebody, if they don't feel like they resonate with my energy, don't waste your time. I'm not taking that personally. It's better for that person than to find who they are meant to. And it doesn't mean that that person and myself don't meet up in months or years, maybe even decades, and then wind up hitting it off. It's just for whatever reason, at this moment of time, there's a disconnect there. So then we just go on and continue on our way. Love yourself. Accept all of you. Every aspect of you. Confront it. Ask how you can help. What do I need to do? How can I help you? And if you want to wrap your arms around that part of you, your mind and your body know what to do. Just have to be open to it and try it. So I can tell you from experience, it feels pretty darn liberating. So, all right. Thank you for watching today's episode. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, until next time, thank you, be well, and namaste.